this meeting to order. All right. What's first?
Pledge allegiance.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call.
Mr. Brooks,
Here.
Mr. Brown,
Here.
Mrs. Davis,
Here.
Mr. DeFrancesco,
Yeah.
Mr. Giroux,
Here.
Mr. Gulick,
Here.
Mr. Johnston,
Here.
Mr. Lynch,
Here.
Mr. Valesky.
Here.
All right.
Minutes, recommend approval of the meeting minutes as listed.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
No presentations. We have with us today Amanda Crowell from PENNCREST for an update.
Good evening. My name is Amanda Crowell from the PENNCREST. I'm here to update you on what's happening at Sagertown High School. A new concrete patio is being constructed in front of the cafeteria so that more students can eat outside. The project should be completed soon so students can enjoy the good weather. Guidance counselor Christy Mogul has started a guidance Google Classroom so all students can be aware of items coming through the guidance office such as scholarships, internships, and other opportunities. Junior Brittany Hauk placed second in the Western region, which is the western half of the state, in the American Legion essay. Her essay on Does the U.S. military receive the respect they deserve won through 5 levels of competition. She was recently awarded $600 for this accomplishment by Dan Cole, commander of the American Legion Post 205. The golf team has been competing. They took first place at Cambridge Springs Mega Match on September 4th and third place at Cache Mega Match on September 9th. All other fall sports officially begin competing next week, and we wish them well. Overall, it has been a fairly smooth start to the school year. We look forward to keeping you informed and thank you for keeping us safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other student delegate representatives? No PK representative today. We have registered citizens' comments. Carla Brown?
I just wanted to come and talk about the guidance for sports that you guys put out yesterday. I know you guys talked about this on Tuesday during the work session. And during that conversation, it was specifically asked if the little gritters would be able to have a concession, to which I believe there was agreement that that was okay. And when the guidelines came out, they said that boosters organizations are not allowed to do concessions, raffles, or merchandise. I felt like I needed to come and ask you to reconsider. I think that regardless of school affiliation, all organizations should be held to the same standard this school year as far as any kind of fundraising that they do. Little Gritters is, as a sports organization, bound by the same rules as Governor Wolf's order for schools. So any kind of concessions that they do, they have to follow the same guidelines and guidance for businesses and restaurant industry as the boosters would have been able to do. So if you feel like it is appropriate for the Little Gritters to be able to have concessions or do any kind of fundraising at their events held on school grounds, I would like you to reconsider prohibiting any of the band boosters or football boosters from the same opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Deanna Potts?
Hi. I'd like to thank the PENNCREST School District and board members to allow me to speak tonight. My name is Deanna Potts, and I am the owner and director of Country Kids Daycare in Townville. I've had this business for over 16 years, and I have a good relationship with Midwood Elementary School and the PM busing. And I'm here tonight because the school district has recently adopted a new policy about students must get on and off the bus at the same place every single day. And many of my parents don't work just Monday through Friday. And some of them don't work the same hours every single day of the week. So they're finding it difficult to find childcare, reliable childcare. And so they're kind of being forced into a situation where they have to choose what to do with their children. They can try and get home in time from work by leaving early, but most of those parents, especially out in the Maplewood School District, would have to work till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, possibly less, or an earlier time off to get home in time to get their child off the bus. And or some of them are actually going to have to choose whether or not to leave their children get off the bus home alone with no adult supervision. Excuse me. I have several different types of parents that bring their kids to me. They are dual working families, they are dual custody families, and they are single parents. So they don't have reliable resources at their disposal to have somebody watch their children on certain days. And I'm that reliable resource for them. Right now, they're going to have to make a choice, like I said, to either let them get off the bus by themselves, pay for extra childcare because the school district is refusing to allow them to get off at the daycare like Mondays and Tuesdays, or Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays, whatever the case may be. And so they're kind of being forced into, well, am I going to have to fork out more money because of this? Or am I going to have to possibly lose my job? Or am I going to have to maybe make a choice to leave my kids at home by themselves? And I think to impose such a regulation on parents is wrong. It could be really a financial burden for many of these parents. And it also could end up being a dangerous situation for a lot of these young children. And several years ago, and I don't know if anybody of you remember it or not, there was a little boy that was from Maplewood that was taken to his home. The parent didn't come to the door because at that time, the school district, or at least Maplewood did, the parent had come to the door of the house to let the bus driver know that the child was safe to come home and he wasn't being left alone. Well, no one came to the door, so the bus driver took the child back to the school. They tried to notify mom. Mom wasn't answering the phone. They notified dad. Well, come to find out, during this time when the bus driver was trying to drop the child off, mom was actually home, and she was trying to kill her 3-year-old daughter by disemboweling her with a 3-inch kitchen knife. I know the story because I ended up watching this family after the healing was all done. But if that policy wasn't in place, the bus driver dropped the little boy off, he could have been at the same fate as his little sister was. Fortunately, the little girl survived. But, what if now, if the parents are choosing to not drop their kid, or to have their kids drop off and stay at home for an hour or two by themselves, those kids get off the bus, go home, they're all home by themselves. I'm hungry, let's cook something. They start a fire. Or I want to go outside and play, it's the middle of winter, they accidentally lock themselves out. I mean, I have 3 kids, I'm assuming most of you have had children. Their brains do not think, well, that's going to be wrong. I want to go outside and play. But they could lock themselves outside in a matter of minutes, depending on the time of year, they could actually freeze to death. Or what about the parents that have a parent that doesn't have custody rights, and they know that their child's getting off with nobody at home, they could take that child, or even worse, a child predator. Surveilling, that's the thing right now, and they're going around to the neighborhoods and checking to see who kids are home by themselves and who aren't. And somebody could just take a child. I don't think we want, as a school district, to have that on our conscience. So I'm kind of here to ask for my parents at least, because I know that the other schools are probably having the same issues. But asking, please rethink this policy so these kids can get off the bus on the days that they need care. at my childcare facility and any place else. I mean, because like I said, many of these parents work. I have several parents that don't get a schedule for the following week until Thursday or Friday. So they don't even know what their next week's schedule is going to be. So they're calling me or texting me and say, hey, do you have room for my kids, Tuesday and Thursday next week? And then the same thing happens. So many of these parents don't have a choice at all. But I would like you guys to rethink that policy and let the kids get on and off the bus where care is needed. Not necessarily at my daycare, but like if grandma and grandpa can watch the kids on 2 days a week, then, that should be a possibility for them. Thank you.
Start walking through the agenda. Athletic Committee, Mr. Gulick, Chairman. Recommend approval to employ Stephen Satz as an assistant football coach for Sagertown Junior Senior High School, effective for the 2021 school year.
On behalf of the committee, so moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Education Committee, Mr. Brooks, Chairman. Item A, recommend approval of a service purchase contract with Community Alternatives Incorporated as attached.
On behalf of the committee, so moved.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item B, recommend approval of the affiliation agreements with Mercyhurst University and Edinburgh University of Pennsylvania as attached.
On behalf of the committee, so moved.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item C, recommend approval of the healthcare staffing agreement with Interim Healthcare as attached.
On behalf of the committee, so moved.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item D, recommend approval to discard textbooks as listed that are outdated and not aligned with the current standards.
On behalf of the committee, so moved.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Facilities and Transportation Committee, Mr. Johnson, Chairman. Item A is for information only. Piper, Sandler, and McClure presented information on Tuesday regarding the potential GISA project. The board will take formal action on the 2021 GISA project and bond issuance at our November 8th, 2020 voting meeting. Item B, recommend approval of the contracted student transportation payments as listed.
On behalf of the committee, to make that recommendation.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes.
Item C, recommend approval of the contracted student transportation drivers as listed.
On behalf of the committee, I make that recommendation.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item D, recommend approval of parent-provided transportation agreement for student A as attached.
On behalf of the committee, I make that recommendation.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Finance Committee, Mr. Brown, Chairman. Item A, recommend approval of the treasurer's reports as attached.
On behalf of the committee, so moved.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item B, recommend approval of the disbursements as attached.
On behalf of the committee, so moved.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Personnel Committee, Mr. Brooks, Chairperson. Item A, recommend approval of the leave of absences as listed.
On behalf of the committee, so moved.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item B, Recommend approval to assign Pamela Gordon to a 4-hour cafeteria employee position assigned to Maplewood Elementary School effective September 2, 2020.
On behalf of the committee, so moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item C, recommend approval to employ Jessica Peters as a temporary custodian assigned to Cambridge Springs Elementary School effective September 14, 2020.
On behalf of the committee, so moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item D, recommend approval of the following individuals to serve as volunteers effective for the 2020 school year.
On behalf of the committee, so moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item E, recommend approval to employ the following individuals as support staff substitutes. This recommendation is pending receipt of required employment paperwork under the direction of the superintendent.
On behalf of the committee, so moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes, or opposed? Motion passes.
Policy Committee, Mr. DeFrancesco, Chairman. Item A, recommend approval of Policy 314.1, communicable diseases as attached.
On behalf of the committee, I so moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item B, recommend approval to admit and waive policies 202 and 200 for Family A and B for the 2020 school year, 21 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item C and item D are for information only. There were significant Title IX changes, and the following policies and attachments are related to the federal changes. I think we may leave this on until for maybe a second reading and then finally approve it. They're relatively lengthy and significant changes to our current policies and attachments. As part of that, we would be repealing policy 103.1. So no action needs to be taken at this time. Safe Schools Committee, Mr. Brown, Chairman. There are no voting items at this time. Crawford County Career and Technology Center, Mr. Johnson, representative. Do we have a report today, Mr. Johnson?
I do not. Work constraints kept me from the meeting. One of the other guys.
Yeah, anybody?
Couldn't make it.
I wasn't there.
All right. Intermediate unit number 5 report, Mr. Brooks, representative.
Nothing too exciting. Apparently, there's a lot of changing regulations from the state, and there's a COVID pandemic.
Okay. PSBA legislative report, Mr. Gulick, representative.
The one main thing that I've seen lately is PSBA is working strongly with our state legislators to come up with some kind of legislation whereby people can't sue school districts based on COVID. If their child gets COVID, they can't sue the school district for negligence or anything like that. I'll keep you posted. It's in the works, but that's a significant achievement. Hopefully it'll get passed.
Is there any new business to discuss this evening? Board member remarks?
All right, let's start with Mr. Brown.
All right. Well, it's been a long time coming, but boy, I'm happy to say welcome back, students. This is awesome to see everybody back to school. Welcome back to students, the staff, everybody involved. Bus drivers working again. After these past few months, it's really nice to see. It looks like we're moving forward. And let's just hope we keep that progress going. Having these kids back in school, it's very important for education, but also for their safety and just being around their fellow students and being able to grow in different aspects. So it's good to see everybody back. It's nice to see the parking lots full. It's just nice to see some normalcy. Good luck to all the fall sports, football programs. I hope everything goes well. And the other fall sports, cross country and everything, I hope everything goes well. Let's just have a safe and good school season.
Like Mr. Brown said, welcome back, everyone. It's definitely good for everyone to be back. I think it's going to be a little different, but everyone's going to get through it fine. So, for the fall sports, that would go well, and that's pretty much it.
I'm just glad to see everybody's back to class also. It's kind of an abbreviated year last year because of all this. I hope new policies in place that the cyber and a little bit online, it helps a lot of students that, get caught up and keep current with their schoolwork. That's really all I have.
I think it's been said, but I just want to reiterate I just can't thank our staff enough for the extra hours and the extra time and effort under crazy circumstances and extra criticism, learning new things on the fly. I have a renewed, always respect our teachers, but I just can't thank everybody enough. And it's good to see all the kids back learning in whatever aspect they choose. So thank you, and good luck for the coming months.
I'd like to welcome everybody back. I'd like to thank our staff, the administration. So far, it seems to be a fairly smooth transition, all things considered. I'm excited to see what this year has in store for us. I'd like to encourage our fall sports teams to do the best they can with all the goofy regulations that we have to impose upon them. And just everybody have a safe and hopefully a prosperous year.
Well, you guys really covered it all, I think. So again, to reiterate what everyone said, great job to everybody. I think once we got back into school, people really got on the same page and we worked hard, and we've made several adjustments since the last meeting, and I'm sure that by the time October rolls around, we'll make some more adjustments to everything on the fly. And that's really the key to getting through this, is everyone just knowing that we've got really good people working really hard, and we're going to make the best changes we can. So good luck, everybody.
Very good.
I would just be repeating everything everyone else said. Great to have the kids back. I think the kids that didn't think they liked school kind of realized that they kind of do like school, and they're glad to be back. So it's just wonderful to see them back. And again, good luck to the fall sports teams, and let's have a great year.
Done?
Yep, your turn.
Well, for one thing, I want to again emphasize that we're lucky to have Dr. Greg Poole as our superintendent. Everything so far is working real nice. No problems, obviously no major problems. And I'm sure that Doctor will go over the concern Mrs. Carla Brown has brought up to attention of the board, and also Mrs. Potts. As far as I'm concerned about what Mrs. Potts says, it looks like there's something about safety of our students, especially the little ones. And I recommend strongly that if the administration goes over again, and if the inaction of the board is necessary because of the safety of the children, then we can have a meeting scheduled, Mr. President, and it's up to you to do that. But there are concerns that should be addressed as soon as possible. That's it.
That's it? All right. Just a couple things. I'm not going to say welcome back, not that I'm not glad everybody's back. I would just ask for patience from top to bottom. Teachers, patience with principals, students, parents, please be patient with teachers, everybody. Just, I mean, we're working through a lot of different stuff, and this is completely different for everybody. Just ask that everybody just relax and be patient as we get through this the best we can, and hopefully everything levels off and we're good to go here in not too long. But like I said, just ask everybody patience with the superintendent. Guidelines change every 15 minutes. So, I mean, just because he told you something this morning, it might be different this afternoon. That's not on him, that's, you know, so just a little bit of extra patience and understanding from everybody, even from the board. I mean, it goes, like I said, top to bottom. So that's really all I have. So.
Just one announcement, the board met in executive session on September 8 and 10 for personnel and school safety.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor? Opposed?
Aye.